Dallas hosted their first Super Bowl ever during the 2010 season. Nearly 2 decades later, they might get a chance to do it again. Welcome, everybody, to JG9 News, where we talk all things NFL all the time. I'm Jared Garrett, representing the 904 from the 602, and today we are talking about the possibility that AT&T Stadium could be hosting Super Bowl 63. The NFL has not announced any locations beyond Super Bowl 62, which is being played in Atlanta in 2028. A date is to be determined on that one, but if the schedule holds, it will be the second Sunday in February, and they have not announced anything beyond that. But it seems like 2029 has a decent chance of being played at AT&T Stadium. Why do I bring this up? Well, this just dropped from Brett McMurphy, who is a well-known college football reporter. He was talking about the future national title sites for the college football playoff. And he said today that Tampa is now replacing Dallas to host the 2029 title game. They've announced the sites all the way up until 2030 for the title game. Dallas was supposed to host in 2029 at AT&T Stadium, just like they hosted the game between Ohio State and Oregon during the 2014 season in January of 2015. But it said that Tampa will replace Dallas. Dallas can't host because of scheduling conflicts. Scheduling conflicts in 2029. It is the morning of January 20th, 2025 right now. That is 4 years from now, more than 4 years from now. For some perspective on how long ago that was, or how long ago this will be. As I'm recording this video, we are still on, for at least the next few hours, the 46th president of the United States. By the time the game is played in 2029, we will be on the 48th president. It is a long time between now and January 22nd, 2029. What scheduling conflicts could there possibly be? I found nothing on the calendar whatsoever for 2029. If that's the reason why Dallas can't host a scheduling conflict, there's only one thing it could possibly be. What could AT&T Stadium possibly have booked 4 years out? And that could be the Super Bowl. No city has ever hosted the Super Bowl and the College Football Championship in the same year. It's never happened before since the College Football Championship has been at a neutral site. And there's a reason for that, especially now with the College Football Championship being pushed further and further back into January with the expansion of the playoff. The NFL requires their venue to be blocked off for an extended period of time when they do the Super Bowl. And it makes a lot of sense. You got to install new security features. You got to change all the signage. You got to install other features as well. And on top of that, the halftime show, it's rehearsed a ton inside the venue. The amount of preparation that goes into doing the halftime show and changing the staging in and out. You have Super Bowl media night. And media night, you got to set up everything inside the stadium if it's being held inside the stadium. Sometimes it's inside the arena, but you got to set up everything inside the stadium if it's being held inside there. You got to do so much to get ready for the Super Bowl. It's not just a one-day thing. It takes weeks and weeks of preparing the venue to host that game. And just adding on to that, when it comes to future national title sites, shown the tweet by McMurphy, Vegas is hosting the College Football Championship in 2027. Vegas is not hosting the Super Bowl in 2027. In 2027, 2 years from now, the game will be played at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. 2028, it's being played in New Orleans, and the Super Bowl will not be played in New Orleans that year. It's going to be played in Atlanta. Obviously, we don't know yet about Super Bowl 64 in 2030, but Miami is hosting the championship that year, and they did not host the Super Bowl the year that they hosted the College Football Championship when it was last played at Hard Rock Stadium. So, again, it's never happened before where a city or a stadium hosted the College Football Championship the same year they hosted the Super Bowl, since they played the College Football Championship at a neutral site venue, and it wasn't a bowl game. And you look at, as an example, the Superdome, which is hosting the Super Bowl this year, Super Bowl 59, in just a few weeks' time. There's nothing on the docket from now until then. The Superdome could easily be hosting stuff if they wanted to. They could have conventions. They could have other events as an indoor venue. Don't have to worry about the climate or anything like that. But there's nothing on the calendar in the Superdome until the Super Bowl, because that venue has to be blocked off for all the preparation that goes into that. So what could possibly be on the docket in 2029 that Dallas is bypassing the opportunity to host the College Football Championship, which will sell out and generate a ton of revenue? The only thing on the docket would be the Super Bowl. And when I talk about needing time to install certain features, that is especially true when it comes to Dallas, which, if they get a Super Bowl, cannot afford to take any chances whatsoever. You might remember Super Bowl 45, when that game took place in February of 2011. There was a fiasco at that game. They were way too late installing temporary seats, and it ended up leaving hundreds of fans displaced, unable to watch the game that they paid money for and had a seat for, because their seat did not exist because it was not up to building code and was not deemed safe just hours before the game because it wasn't properly installed in time. It was a giant controversy. I'll probably do a documentary on that at some point in time, but you don't want to take any chances if you are going to put a Super Bowl again in Dallas for the second time. And again, that game did not go well in terms of preparation. It wasn't just that. You had the ice storm, you had the lack of public transportation. It was just a poorly organized Super Bowl. But 2 decades is a long time. I mean, this would be in 2029, 18 years down the road from the last time they hosted. Maybe they do get a second chance. And again, I don't know what on the calendar AT&T Stadium could possibly be used for in January of 2029 that would overtake the College Football Championship, unless it would be the Super Bowl, which would, if the schedule holds in terms of 18 weeks, 17 games, plus a bye week, and then a bye week in between the Conference Championship and the Super Bowl, be played on February 11th, so it would be a 3-week gap. And again, same gap between right now and the Super Bowl in New Orleans. And there's nothing on the docket from now until the Super Bowl in New Orleans until the Super Bowl itself, because you need to prepare the venue for that. There is nothing that's been announced yet. The NFL will probably not announce the next location for Super Bowl 63 until the spring meetings, maybe the fall meetings. Again, all we know is that we know that San Francisco is doing next year for the Super Bowl. SoFi is doing Super Bowl 61, then Mercedes-Benz, Atlanta doing 62. So 63 is coming up. That's the next up. It should be announced in the coming months, wherever it is. And based on this news, at the very least, Dallas is eyeing for the Super Bowl. If they get it, I'm not sure, but at the very least, they have to be eyeing for the Super Bowl, because you don't move a game that's going to draw 90,000 spectators and be a cash cow, a revenue generator with nothing else planned, if you don't have something else lined up that could be bigger. And that, based on everything, could be the Super Bowl. Again, nothing confirmed yet, but based on what Brett Murphy said, with Tampa replacing Dallas as the host for the 2029 title game completely out of nowhere, the dots are connecting when it comes to that. But what are your thoughts on Dallas potentially hosting Super Bowl 63? What are your thoughts in the college realm on Tampa hosting the 2029 championship for the 2028 season? Let me know your thoughts down below, if Dallas deserves a second chance or not, and should Arlington, that area in Dallas, get a second opportunity 18 years after blowing Super Bowl 45? Let me know down below. That's going to do it though for this episode of GGN News. Be sure to like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot. And be sure to check my main channel, Jared9, where we talk about all things NFL history all the time. Until next time, this is Jared9 signing off, and as always, Go Jags.